Good morning, everybody. Oh, my goodness, it's early this morning, but it's a nice day out. I want to show you something. See this? This is the original Hearst shift knob that I bought back in 1974, 1975 for my 71 Gremlin with only a 3-speed. But I always wanted a Hearst shifter, still haven't got one to this day, and I'm 61, as I've told you too many times. But look at this, and I'll show you up close too. All the hairs are off of it. I know the feeling. But as I was making this little intro to a YouTube video about a gremlin, because Uncle M, he's such a wonderful guy. We've had kind of an interesting friendship over YouTube, and he offered to take a 1973 Gremlin X and put the big tires on the back, because I don't know how to do that. I can change the tire innies. The tires, though, on the car still look the same. But let me see if I can get this to raise up a little bit, maybe get some better light. I don't know if I'm going to do good or cause irreparable damage right now, but we're about to find out. What's behind there? Get over there, squirrel. Oh, I see. It's against that. That should probably work anyway. Anyway, he said that he's out of his kind heart that he would fabricate the big tires on the back so it would look cool for me. And I'm kind of hoping he removes the rev limiter, because those things are trash. I don't think they have any place in a game. Maybe on a $1 million sports car, you don't want to send the pistons out into the atmosphere. But in a game, it completely castrates any chance of having fun with it. Okay, so here's this, and I'm going to show it to you. So you see I'm working with my little Mac. This thing with iMovie really is spectacular. But I was sitting here, and I got this idea that if I looked in the bottom of my drawer, in my dresser, that I would find this again after all these years. It kind of pestered me for a little while, so what the hell? What's it going to cost me to go take a look? So I do it. Duh, here it is. Holy shit. Well, didn't expect that. Sorry for cussing. Now you bastard, stay up there. Sorry for cussing again. I had a funny feeling some kind of horse shit was going to transpire if I did that. I got the window open, obviously. All right, well, if I close the window, it shouldn't be able to do that again. Dang, but that scared the piss out of me, to be honest with you. But I'm unscathed and no apparently worse for wear. Well, I didn't plan that, guys. Some days are weird like that. You don't expect shit to happen, and then it does. Case in point, now I'm going to show this to you. I can't very well film it without grabbing the camera and showing you, so I'm going to put these things right here. And let's just kind of wing it. Today's an interesting day. It's kind of spooky, to be honest. All right. Okay. All right, now that hang on a minute. All right, here we are, back in business. Now see this little black stone? Okay. I got this at Uncle George's house when I was going out to help him a few years ago. He had some of these that he brought back from Alaska when he was there in the Air Force. Now why in the hell would I show you this? Well, because I had a dream 2 years before I went out to see Uncle George that I was on this, well, it was called beach actually, but the beach was covered with these black stones, and it was in Alaska. And Uncle George was in the dream, and as we were in the dream together, talking and walking down the beach, an arrow fell, or came from the sky, or from somebody shot it, obviously. An arrow was shot and it landed at my feet. Next thing you know, it's raining arrows. There's all kinds of arrows all over the ground. And I went out to gather as many as I could. And I wasn't an archer back then. Supernatural experience. 2013, I began, after the SAFE Act came and it castrated me of my AKs and ARs and all my gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous uh, rifle collection that took me years and years to get. You say, well, why in the hell did you get rid of them? Because I know, the one thing was for sure, the way they were going after those rifles with the vehement. I didn't think they'd stop at registration. I was sure at some point they'd kick your door in, taser your ass, and just steal your shit. And I didn't know what would happen if that came to pass. And I didn't know if somebody might get hurt, me or somebody else. And I wasn't going to take the chance on any of that over a handful of things. Of course, I felt horrible, but I sold them within 2 phone calls. It's taken since 2012. Taken 5 years to get over the fact that I felt like I was totally raped, or that I'd taken my children to the daycare center and just left them there, left them never to go back again. That bothered me. But anyway, so I went to getting compound bows. I figured the friggin' Indians are going to go ape shit if they steal your effing bows. So I went out to get them, and I ended up with like 20 bows at one time. I took the money foolishly from the sale of the rifles, and I put it in the bows. Well, I had a ball building them, but we're a long ways off the normal course of what I was trying to talk to you about. Black stone again. Okay. Look, a smooth black stone. See this? I hope you can. Well, I've probably got 150 arrows. So that came to pass from the dream. Now, who the hell was shooting the arrows? We never found out. We never got hit by one. Back then, Uncle George, his mind was sharp and clear. And I really loved the guy. I went out to help him in 2013. He was going through a divorce after being married 56 years. That's a whole nother video in itself. But I want to talk to you about supernatural things. Because I know every human being on the face of the earth at some point or another is faced with the supernatural. It's either the negative supernatural, where you're pushed down your bed and you can't move, night terrors, or just as a child, you see that something in the corner of your eye and you break out into goosebumps, you're scared shitless and haul ass, and or you actually can see the demonic spirits in the room when you're young, and then it fades as you become more world oriented, or for whatever reason. But when I was out there to help him in 2013, I'm not going to lie to you. Of all the things you could say after years of knowing me is this: I will not lie to you. I'm not going to waste my breath with a lie. I know that God creates by speaking, and so do you, so do I. The very life we live right now is what we spoke years before. We had faith in what we spoke, and it happened. You've also spoke things just off the cuff, and they've happened. Oh, I can't believe it, Marge. I'm going to go to the store and have an accident today. You talk like an idiot. An hour later, she gets a phone call. Wouldn't believe it, this dirty bastard ran the stop sign, T-boned my ass. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine, but my car's fucked. No, excuse me. But, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking to you about. You know, if you be honest with yourself, you already know I'm telling you the truth. So I go out to help Uncle George in 2013. It's a long flight from New York down to Georgia, then Georgia over to Sacramento, California. Then supposedly somebody comes to fetch you from Fairfield. And back then he had this lady. She looked all the world like Mrs. Doubtfire, except maybe some of her attributes were significantly larger. Let's call it a day. Anyway, a decent lady, had a real tough life, was just, we won't even go into that, because I'm not at liberty to speak of somebody else's life. I can tell you about my life, but not somebody else's. Anyway, she picks me up at the airport, wants to hit a casino on the way to Uncle George's. Honey, you got to be out of your friggin' mind. Number one, I don't go to casinos. Why should I make somebody else rich? I know damn well I ain't going to get rich. It won't work that way for me. See, I don't believe it will, so stay the hell out of there. Okay, we get to Uncle George's and her daughter, who lived with them at the time. I mean, you get he's an old man. He was 70 some odd years old, 79, something like that at the time. And his wife lived he was wealthy, well, fairly wealthy, not compared to the wealthy, but a mile up the ladder from piss ants, let's put it that way. Her daughter lived there with him and her son, and they're nice people. The son was 12 years old at the time I was there. And he was, this is California, so they aspire to be skateboard artists and all kinds of cool stuff that you can do year round in California. Well, the young boy had taken a fall in the road and hit his head on a curb, doing a wheelie or whatever they do with those things. I don't know how the hell they flip them end over end over end, and then they land on the sons of bitches. Dude, please. He asked me if I wanted to get on it. Now watch you. Thanks. A good man knows his limitations, is what Clint Eastwood said. I know this much. I'd break my ass on that thing. So, long flight. I'm tired. They made a small bed. I mean, it was small. It wasn't as wide as even a single bed. It was a little better than a cot. But, dude, I'd have slept on the floor if it wasn't for he had dogs, and he didn't care if they shit and pissed on the floor. He didn't care. What the hell? He loved the dogs. Do what you want to, Whatever. But little Ricky, he was laying down. This story's going to be worth it, so hang in there. You're probably not going to believe it anyway when I show you a photograph, but nobody believes me. It's real. Fuck it. The little kid lays down on a couch in the living room. Now I'm not 20 feet from the kid. I'm laying on this little bed. I'm dog tired. Lay down. I'm just starting to drift. When you get in that spot where you're not cognizant, but you're headed into dreamland, that's usually when the enemy will attack you. The son of a bitch knows that you're vulnerable then, or for whatever, it's an entry point for demonic activity. Be that as it may. I'm just about drifting off, and I hear, oh, please don't hurt me. Bing! My friggin' eyes go open like this. The kid's whining like a puppy. Don't hurt me again. I come off that cot, and I'll tell you what, if it had been a grizzly bear, I'd have attacked the son of a bitch. It's just the way I am when somebody's in need. I don't respond properly, perhaps, but I'll tell you what, I get the job done. I went in there, I said, what's the matter, Ricky? He said, the spirit. I said, what? He said, the spirit's back, and it's tormenting me. I said, what the hell are you talking about, spirit? Go to sleep, kid. Did you hit your head pretty hard? No, I'm serious. There's a spirit of a little girl in this house. What? All right, I rebuked it in the name of Jesus Christ, so that's how you do it, kid. Man, I'm tired. I'm going back to sleep. I laid down. 15 minutes into laying down, I'm thinking, what the kind of bullshit's going on in this house? Bang! I get bit in the right calf, just below where the knee bends. Let me talk to you about pain. It had my full attention. I come leaping off the bed. Now I'm pissed. I rebuked that thing in the name of Jesus, cast it to the pit of hell, and was done with it. And I was loud, woke up the whole house. And welcome to California, knucklehead from New York. Well, this kid's a flip out. Well, little boy goes to sleep. Everything's, boom, out for the night. Up at the crack of dawn, get the coffee going, the dog's out, whatever the deal. Little kid gets up and he's a great little guy too. Just smart and a good, you could tell inside he's got integrity. He goes, would you like to see a photograph of the spirit? I go, what? Excuse me, I didn't mean to go over the phone like that, but my hand's starting to shake. You get old, shit don't work the way it should. Better than watching the thing go, bobbing up and down for you guys, I'm sure of that. So I go, yeah, Ricky, sure, whatever. He goes, it's on my tablet. I said, what's a tablet? Well, yeah, I'm coming up to speed. Give me a break. I never saw this shit before. He gets this little flat thing out, opens it up to tiny little, or actually, it didn't open up. It was flat. Android, I think, was the kind of operating system. He opens it up to show me some photographs. Okay. He shows me the photograph of my Uncle George's dining room with a female spirit coming into this plane of existence from wherever the fuck they live to begin with, or it becomes visible, or what the deal is, whether they're around us constantly or not. I couldn't really tell you. This isn't something I study. At any event, I'm looking at this photograph. I said, Ricky, what'd you do this at school with Photoshop? He said, George, I don't have Photoshop. Now they're so poor. They're dumpster divers. I never even heard such a thing. In New York, you dive a dumpster, you go to jail probably. But there, you go out in the middle of the night. I guess you go behind Walmart or something, climb into the dumpsters. They throw shit out. Hopefully they throw shit out, or somebody in the store works there and throws shit in the dumpster, and you go get it and sell it and make money. I don't know how the deal works. I'm just kind of guessing. I don't really know. I don't want to know. I ain't climbing behind no friggin' dumpster and get bit by a rat. That's for damn sure. And by the grace of Almighty God, I don't need that nonsense. Anyway, back to the picture. I see the picture. I see the painting on the wall. It's the strangest damn thing because there's bolts of light coming into the picture. And it looks like the picture moves, or he moved while he was taking the picture, and everything but the spirit is slightly askew. Now, the kid's poor, so they don't have access to Photoshop. And he's 12 years old. And you can't do this kind of shit on the tablet that I'm seeing that I thought is contrived. You know, I thought it was horse shit myself. But the more I look, the more I see a double image as it's coming in through, and its whole chest is ripped open, and it's got fingers and shit, perfect fingers, and it's a hideous mouth open, and it ain't happy, whatever happened. I look at this thing, and I'm going to show it to you. I didn't even mean to do this. This whole video was about this. And then I found the stone, and it led to that. I wanted to tell you about the dream that has freaking... this was in the dream years before, and I got it written down in the other room. That was some dreams you have that you just write down. Now, since the 4K TV and the cell phone, my dreams haven't been worth a shit. Well, for whatever reason, but there's more than a coincidence, I'm sure, between the two. There must be a dumbing down of society, and by the look at these knuckleheads that are posted shit about blowing away the president. You couldn't have done that with Obama. My God, one guy said, I think we're going to have more fried chicken at the fucking White House, and they fired the bastard. Now they got effigies of our God-blessed president, and the sons of bitches are shooting them. They ought to hang them fuckers. Anyway, that's another thing. Maybe they shouldn't. Free speech, whatever the fuck. I wouldn't put up with it if I was the president. I'd have the bastards arrested and fucking a good stout talking to. I'll put it to you that way. I'd bring him right before me and say, what the fuck's wrong with you? Anyway, will you ever get to see this picture? Yes. So I look at it and I said, Ricky, I said, where'd you get the tablet? He goes, my mother gave it to me. He said, but I need a new skateboard. I want to sell it. I said, do you? I said, how much? He goes, $100. $100? He says, it's worth $300. Fuck it, I'll give you the $100. So I flip off 520s. The kid gives me the tablet. All right, I go, fuck it. I got the original picture of this thing, whatever the fuck it is. He took his other pictures off because I didn't need to see all that stuff, and I didn't want the rap music because it's just, I'm too old for rap music, unfortunately. Reggae I like, but rap is a little beyond me. Anyway, as the voyage there progressed, within a short amount of time, one miracle after the another, I was able to see Aunt Simone and talk to her about coming back to live with Uncle George. And And this whole story is going to be longer than you have any interest in hearing, I'm sure. So I'm just going to cut to the chase and say that Uncle George got his wife back. Now, she was older than him, so he's 79. She's like 83. I can show you pictures of them kissing and what have you. That just, they loved each other. Unfortunately, when Aunt Simone came in, she's a little French woman who saw her mother slaughtered before her very eyes by the Nazis back in the day by smashing her face against the stone wall of their farmhouse in Normandy. We won't go into the rest of her life, which was quite sordid, but nonetheless, she had no heart for people at all. She was the coldest person I ever knew, or I pray to God ever do know. She threw the little boy out to the street, didn't give a shit what became of him, and the grandmother and the mother out. She just threw him to the four winds. It broke my heart to see such coldness and such venom in a human being. I didn't know it existed. I came back to New York and I was here, less than 30 days, and I get a phone call that she brought some guy in and they just fleeced Uncle George, stole everything they could steal, and the divorce was back on. So I looked like the colossal retard for even going there to try to help him. And boy, did I catch flack. Ex-wife flack, every kind of flack. I mean, it was the most wonderful Disney type deal that I could go out there and be of use by God. And it wasn't easy to get Aunt Simone to go back with him and then to find out that this transpired. Well, 2 years or so, that's 2012, 13, 14, 15, yeah. He gets another housekeeper. This one robs him of $34,000 over a course of time. I get pulled back to California by the bank to try to settle the deal. I almost get shot by a police officer by walking up to him in a way that would get you shot. Trying to hold him the cell phone because I'm talking to the investigator for the whole thing, and it was a nightmare. In fact, the officer told me that if I said one more word to the housekeeper that was there, I'd be arrested on the spot. He didn't give a shit. The lady robbed him of $34,000, and we got check stubs to prove it. That don't mean nothing to them, apparently. I don't even think anything ever happened to the lady, other than and she wouldn't leave. It took a new housekeeper that was supplied by a church nearby to come and stay there while that other housekeeper and her husband and the dogs and the children and all the bullshit refused to leave. It was unbelievable. And then this housekeeper marries my uncle after being there 3 months. And I get thrown off the will, off everything. Thanks for helping. Okay, whatever. Everything that Uncle George had was always his anyway, and Alzheimer's strikes and the people come and rob him blind. Well, Uncle George was never my source of supply to begin with. I never went there to get a thing from him. And that's the kind of shit that happens in real life. You take a real stout fucking every so often. And it depends on how you deal with it. Either you deal with it or you don't deal with it. Personally, the only option I have is to thoroughly forgive everybody and move on. And that's what I'm doing. And now things have opened up and I've got YouTube videos going, and God is still supplying all my needs according to his riches and glory. And well, I didn't intend to make this video this morning. It just kind of leaped out, and I hope you don't mind it. Just sharing with you. I ain't got nobody to talk to. You look around. The chipmunks are cool. They don't say an awful lot. They do communicate with you, though. Cute little bastards. This one jumped up in the flower thing. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. Let me turn. That won't help or not. But he jumped right up in there yesterday, looks at me, leaps over onto this ledge on the other side of the glass, peeks right in, sticks his feet up there, He wanted food. So I took him out a paint. Wait a minute. Here he comes right now. Look at this. Now wait. Now see, this is the kind of horse shit that I can't plan. There's the little creeper right there. Now, there's no way in the world I knew that creature was going to do this. There he is right there. Now, all right, this is a very amazing day coming about. I can see that now. This is the supernatural kind of stuff that I'm telling you about. There's no way I can make it up. And I'm not some kind of witch or bullshitter like that. Not at all. Not even close. I'm totally the other side of the fence from that nonsense. Not saying it ain't real, just saying I don't have any part of it, nor will I. I rebuke that shit in the name of Jesus. There's no real power in it. It's only bondage. You end up in hell at the end, and I'm not into any of that shit. But, oh well. Hope somebody got something out of this, because today is a spooky fucker, I'll tell you that. All right, guys. Bye-bye now.